Hello, this is Hannah Mushopiadi Hail. I'm getting back to you regarding the last video that I made where I said I'd speak about what the words that make up AIR and my excitement about words and authenticity, integrity and reflection. And in my very first video I spoke about how there's 5 things that make up the letter A in the word AIR, and 5 things that make up the letter I, and 5 things that make up the letter R. As you will see, you can put anything there. It's just a methodology that I'm using. On the note of methodology, I also am making this video to just share a little bit about what I'm learning in my coaching class. I've finished the group coaching process and now I'm getting into advanced coaching, something that I really look forward to using going forward. So right now, I'm teaching myself how to make videos and I'm teaching myself how to create content. So yeah, thanks for partnering with me. This is part of me recreating my life post 40. We said that we don't need to be going to a graveyard, so part of how we generate renewal is to really look within and find that which in us is uniquely me, uniquely you. So words for me. So the one thing I found very interesting as I was working through this process, I realized I knew this before. But the word AIR in Sepedi, which is a methodology I want to use, I say Sepedi, a methodology, is actually a language, my indigenous language that my parents and grandparents spoke at home and I grew up speaking as well. I found a link between AIR, as in Moya, the spirit, or the soul, not the same thing. So we would say the Holy Spirit, Moya o Mokgethwa. It has implications there when you think about that. The soul, Moya wa motho. That's what we say a person gives up when they transition to another existence, to another life. And also Moya is something that we could call an attitude or a way of holding oneself. So, for example, onale moya o waliswiswi. That means someone has an air of darkness about them. So that implies something about that person, but we call that attitude Moya. Also, thirdly, Moya is the wind, the air, what we breathe in, the wind that blows. Also a storm, someone might be saying, oh, bonale moya, meaning just, the volume of it. Not that there's never a wind always, but when you say, oh, moya, there's quite a lot. And also it could be just a breeze. Oh, moya usana, a gentle, lovely, enjoyable breeze. So I thought that's also interesting because there's something else that comes up there for me. Moya, moya, as in the person who goes somewhere, he or she who goes somewhere. Moya badimung, for example, is the one who transitions to the ancestors. So I find that as a methodology in group coaching, one of the things that I'm going to be doing is using my indigenous language, using numbers. If you were reflective, you might have seen that there were 7 types of Moya that I was talking about. Maybe not types, but 7 words that I've used in addition to the one word AIR that I'm referring to in English. So in a similar way to how I'm taking each of these 3 letters and I'm creating attributes beneath them that we can look at, that we can contemplate on and really use to think about what it is we want to do with our lives going forward. I'm also using numbers and I'm looking at another language, my language, to try and get insights that are empowering for moving forward as well. I say numbers as well. I was speaking to a friend not too long ago. We were having coffee and tea and she was telling me about the Enneagram. And I was explaining to her about a certain specific number that I'm going to be using in my group coaching and in my one-to-one coaching. And immediately she said, oh, I can't believe it. And she was looking at the structure and says, but that's what the Enneagram is about. So wow, surprise, surprise. I'm really looking forward to working with her on seeing the similarities and how these number systems work, etc. Also speaking about numbers, there's a lot that I'd love to share. One of the things, for example, words and numbers, that I learned the word for the brain in Sepedi is bioko, but the word for thought is moropolo. And moropo is like a bowl I hope the really great Sepedi speakers won't mark me wrong on this one, but by my recollection, moropo is like a bowl. And in the tummy, we have what is morodu. So yes, I'm making links that may not necessarily be authentic, but in my understanding. So when I look inside and I think, what does this mean? I'm learning. The brain and the gut, it's like two brains in the body, as far as I'm concerned. And those who know in physiology and also in herbal medicine, etc., know that there's a very strong link between what the brain is able to do based on what the guts have been processing. But also, there is a certain other thing that came up about pelo, which is the heart, P-E-L-O, the heart, pelo. And in a woman, popelo. And I thought, how fascinating as well. The heart, in a way, is a source of love and a custodian of life. So is the womb as well in a woman. And as I said in my first video, I don't know that much about men, so I'm going to be a bit leaning around, towards women, because that's where I'm comfortable and that's what I understand. But all of us have a mom, all of us come from a womb, all of us, men or women, we have a heart. So the whole thing about keeping that heart beating, regardless of the challenges at work, at home, wherever, and the love that generates life itself in the womb, I find that very inspiring. So those are the kinds of things that I'm going to be using in terms of numbers, this pairing of things, the heart and the womb in a woman, and the brain and the gut, to link those. So it's a little bit of a weird-ish approach, perhaps for some people, but I think over time we'll see how this kind of coaching is going to be unfolding. So that was really me. I'm not going to be saying much more, except to say just what I was sharing with you about the mind, the heart, and the soul, the air. It reminds me of something I'm really, really grateful for, that it exists, the Ubuntu Lab, that was inspired by processes that the Kalungu Bandas are engaged with, along with Julie Arts. And originally, obviously, the pioneer of this philosophy is Otto Scharmer at MIT and the Presencing Institute. And I just want to say, they are truly inspiring human beings that are really making a big difference. And I'm putting it out there that the alignment of the mind, the heart, and the source of who we are. And as a woman, I'm going to not necessarily plagiarize, but adapt to say the brain up here in this moropo, in this bowl here, when you look at the skull, moropo, it can hold that. And in the gut, the heart, the gut, I'm putting that together. And in a woman, I'll say in our wombs as well, the seat of our root as human beings, as our flesh and blood existence. And I say that alignment is part of what I will strive to use and to work with also in my work and endeavor around the Ubuntu Lab, and this whole idea of bringing more Ubuntu, Boto, in Sepedi and Sotho and Setswana we would call it Boto, Ubuntu, to bring back the human being, our humaneness, our humanness into the center of things. And as Otto Scharmer would put it, it's about moving from ego systems to ecosystems that are more reflective, not just about money, but about transforming the need for money and its use, and linking that to what its importance is all about, what it's meant to do. Thank you for listening. I hope we'll speak again another time. Bye.